so delighted to have this opportunity today to talk to you all, the people behind some of my most favourite makeup brands. I want to take this opportunity to tell you about people like me, people with disabilities, and how you can really create innovative products that are accessible for us, but delighter for everybody. My name is Sam Latif, and I am P&G Beauty's accessibility leader. My role is about focusing on how we can make products that will help the masses, but also serve people with disabilities. It's a really huge untapped business opportunity that we have to create superior products by embedding accessibility into the design in our products that we make. And to be really clear, I'm not asking us to create products that are only serving people with disabilities. Indeed, when I look back, I remember the talking calculator, the talking watch that was very ugly and clunky and chunky, that was created only to serve people with disabilities. I don't want that. What I'm asking is for us to create superior products that are accessible products for the masses, but the innovation and the development driven by including people with disabilities into the design process. You'd be surprised to hear about the many everyday products that we all use, which were designed by people with disabilities, but that are delighting everybody. The typewriter, that was the creation because of a blind lady in the 1800s. She wanted to independently write to her friend, and that was the reason why the typewriter was created. She she was the reason why something like that was created and then ultimately turned into the computer that we all use every day. Texting is another great example. It was an innovation that was created by and for deaf people, but it's now become mainstream. We all use it. Now, let's continue looking back at the past. I wanted to share with you my personal story. At the age of 4, I was diagnosed with an eye condition, which would mean that I would become blind by the time I was a teenager. I wish that prediction was wrong, but it was right. I couldn't see very much at all by the time I was 13 years old. But like other teenagers, I started exploring and experimenting with makeup. I still wear makeup today. So I've been a makeup user for 3 decades. People often say to me, wow, your makeup looks great. How do you do that even better than I can? And I can see. Well, the answer to that is that I've invested a massive amount of time in adapting my beauty routine to make it accessible for me. It runs like clockwork, but I really wish the makers of beauty products really could see the challenges that someone like me experiences, because I believe that these companies have the power and the opportunity to innovate and to make their products accessible for all. And that would make not only their products good for people with disabilities, but it will make them superior for everybody. Today, I wanted to take the opportunity and talk to you about my personal journey as a blind makeup user. This, I hope, will help you to understand the opportunities when it comes to making makeup more accessible. So, step 1 in my journey, finding out about a new product. So we all ask our friends, our family members, the internet for recommendations, or we browse in store for new products. And for me, this process is no different, except it takes me about 10 times longer. And this is how. I'll give you an example. One day, I discovered that the foundation I had been using very loyally for years and years and years was discontinued, just like that. When I went to get a new one, it was no longer there. And my sister is my trusted advisor. She lives in Scotland, and she's always been the one that I trust to choose my foundation to make sure I've got the right shade. I ended up taking a flight, especially to Scotland, to meet with my sister to help me buy a foundation before returning back on the same day. And the reason I had to do that is previously I did find people local to help me find my shade, but they were either too dark, too light, or not the right color. And people would give me those types of comments. And I didn't want comments from people. And an example of what would make a real difference here is that if the website for that makeup foundation brand was accessible, if it would really help me to better understand the shades online with my talking software, it would really, if they told me this particular shade has been discontinued, but start using that one, I would have been able to know by myself, and I wouldn't have had to travel to Scotland to meet my sister to get the right shade. The internet, social media, and advertising play a huge part in teaching us about new products and how to apply them. But the accessibility of these websites makes it really tricky for me. I mean, I can use websites that are compatible with my software, no problem, with a screen reader called JAWS. But unfortunately, most websites are not designed with this in mind. And I don't understand why, because it doesn't cost a single penny to make it accessible if you build it in from the beginning. A great example of a website that's built with accessibility in mind is Herbal Essences. Let me show you what it looks like with my screen reader to navigate Herbal Essences.
So here we have our products.
Our ingredients, our philosophy, our partnership, list end, navigation region end, main region.
And then it tells me that there's a photograph here. It describes the photograph.
Unexploded white and pink flowers, orange fruits and green plants, go down the herbal shampoo, bottle graphic.
Then I can look at all the headings.
Plant power in the shower, shampoos and conditioners, setting level 1.
Plant power in your shower.
Dedicated to creating quality shampoos and conditioners, setting level 2. Ingredients you can trust there, setting level 2.
Ingredients that you can trust.
Top sellers, setting level 2.
Top sellers.
So the key tip here is when your websites are accessible, it makes a massive difference to people like me. It makes me independently buy my products online. Next time you come to build your new website, test it with people with disabilities, and because it will not only help people with disabilities, it will make your search engine scores rank higher, and it will just be a better experience for everybody. Also, consider how your advertising can be accessible. Audio description and captioning is something that is a very straightforward process that you can factor in every time you create a video or an ad. And it doesn't impact able-bodied people at all. It's a service that you can turn on or off through your TV settings. But it really opens up your advertising to so many more people, 2.2 million people in the UK alone. Ole is a great example of a brand that's building audio description into its advertising. So I want you to experience this, okay? So I'm going to play an ad that is an Ole ad from the perspective of what it's like for a blind person to see that ad when it's not audio described, when it's not accessible. Let's take a look.
Come on! Let's go. Call someone.
If you were a blind consumer, would you really understand what this ad is about? I don't think so. But let's watch this ad again, this time with audio description.
Villain stands in the rain watching a couple. The lights flicker and go out. Suddenly, the villain is inside their house. The couple runs screaming into the bedroom, locking the door. The villain searches for them while the woman picks up her phone.
I can't unlock my phone. What do you mean you can't unlock your phone? It doesn't recognize my face.
She's Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I've been using Olay. It has totally transformed my skin. 28 days ago, I looked like that.
She points at a photo.
It's bananas. That's you.
The villain jumps on the bed.
Your skin's glowing. You could be a movie star.
Really?
I mean that.
No.
Okay, let's move on to step 2, finding a product and figuring out how to use it. As a consumer with a disability, so I'm a consumer at home with the product in my hand. I want to know, how do I use it? How do I do that as a blind person? I need to find someone. I need to find a family member, a friend who can read this information to me. And the thing is, the first time they read it, I might not remember it. I'll need them to read it multiple times, maybe one day and then the next day and then the next day. That isn't a nice feeling for me. It doesn't make me feel independent. It makes me feel reliant on another human being to do a simple task that other people don't need another human being to rely on. Only this week, I ran out of my concealer. I remember the brand name, but I can't remember the color, the shade that I was using. So I need someone to read that information for me before I can reorder. And as you can imagine, this is not only just time consuming, it's also frustrating, being reliant on other people. So my tip here is consider how you could integrate digital into your packaging so that I have the option to just point my phone and get the relevant information about the product that I'm pointing to at the time when I need it without having to invite anyone else. So if we were just to do a simple thing like that, that would save me a lot of time asking people. It would save me asking so many favors from people. And as a result, I'll give you my loyalty, because you've given me the opportunity to be independent. I will repay that back through buying your product again and again and again. Okay, next step. Step 3, finding the product. Now, let's now move on to think about how I can practically apply a product. I want you to think about your own cosmetics collection. How many lipsticks or eyeshadows do you have? I've got about less than 10 lipsticks, and I am keeping forgetting what the color shades are. So I developed this technique. I have some red lipsticks, and I have some pink lipsticks, and I have a range of brown lipsticks. I have put a tactile dot on all of my red lipsticks to let me know that these are all in the red range. And then I've put an elastic band around the pink ranges. So I know that at least this is like a pink. It could be a light pink, dark pink, medium pink, I don't know. But it's kind of a pink one, right? And then the reds have the same. So today I know with confidence, without asking anyone, that today I'm wearing a red lipstick. So this kind of innovation is something that we already explored with P&G Beauty's herbal essences. A few years ago, we added tactile stripes on our shampoo bottles and tactile circles on our conditioner bottles for herbal essences. Now, the reason we did that was because our shampoo and conditioner bottles are identical. So as a blind person, I don't know one from the other. And I need to ask someone, or I needed to put an elastic band around it. But by putting tactile symbols on the bottle as a manufacturer, we've now opened the opportunity for everyone to be able to identify shampoo and conditioner using their sense of touch instead of having to use their eyes. It's really simple to do, but it really makes a massive difference to people like me. Step 4, using the product. So here comes the fun bit. I've learned over time how to apply my makeup. And basically what happens is my sister or my cousin, 2 people, teach me how to put my makeup on, and I've built it up over time. So today I've done my own makeup, and I probably put more on than I normally do, but just for this event. So it shows you independently how much makeup I can do by myself, provided that the products that I'm using are accessibly created. So what works for me is being methodical. So for example, my eyeshadows are arranged so that I know that, even though I can't see the colors, I know which pocket to go for. So the top row of my makeup palette includes like the highlighters or the black. And the middle row is the colors that I would use in my crease. And the bottom row are the colors that I would use on my lid. And then the colors are also arranged in pairs. So the crease and the lid colors are matching. So I have 3 sets of different colors that I can be using. Yes, it was time consuming, but now that that's been put into place, I use it day after day. It's brilliant. So the key tip is here. Consider how you can make some experts available for people with disabilities so that we can help them establish their beauty regime. Because once you spend that above average time, I understand, to help them once to get set up in their journey, they will reuse that day in, day out. And that's brilliant. And at P&G, what we're doing is offering this support called Be My Eyes. It's an app that we're using that blind people can use to call and get help from a sighted volunteer from P&G to actually help them understand about our product range. And it's a really good way for us to start communicating and understanding the needs of our blind people. We're all on our own journey of discovery and understanding when it comes to disability, and accessibility it's a journey that we have to, personally and professionally, that we're on. There's one in every 6 persons in Europe have a disability. So it's really essential that we all seek to build disability confidence, both as individuals and as a business. And a way that we're doing this in P&G Beauty is that we're fostering an environment of openness and inclusion through our People with Disabilities network, which allows employees to bring themselves to work. If they have a disability, we have a group for them. It helps to build that culture of understanding disability. It helps us to connect to one another around the world and getting to know what are the challenges each other faces, how we can turn those challenges into opportunities for the business. And initiatives like this mean that we're in a better place to understand disability as a business, and we can create products with accessibility in the heart of it. We must all embrace the opportunity to build and create product experiences that are a delighter for all. Adopting a holistic approach to product development will be really critical. We can't just make one part accessible and not the other, because the whole experience needs to be accessible 360. So next time you design a new product, a new web page, or a piece of advertising, I urge you and challenge you to intentionally bring the experiences of individuals with disabilities into your thinking. And this will help you to critically evaluate the product and ultimately make something that's a delighter for everyone. Because we all know that this is not only just the right thing to do, but it's also going to help us build our business. Thank you.